DC Multiverse!
How's it going, Superista friends? Welcome back to my channel. Nothing says I've ran out of video ideas like let's make a tier list. Today, I figured it might be kind of fun to take every single figure that Todd McFarlane released in his DC Multiverse line of action figures and slap them all into a conveniently made S to F tier list. I want to point something out here. Just because a figure may or may not end up down in the bottom doesn't mean that I think it's a garbage figure. You guys all know I'm on record as saying that McFarlane Toys is the breakout toy company of 2020, and they've done a fantastic job with the DC license. The quality in general is absolutely through the roof in comparison to what we had previously from Mattel. Not knocking Mattel, you guys all know I love Mattel's DC Multiverse and their previous DC Superheroes and DC Universe Classics lines, but we gotta give credit where credit's due. McFarlane's take on the DC license has been something special because he's made every figure individual. They've all got their own tooling, and that has to be Boku bucks. All right, so let's get cracking. I've got all the figures laid out below the chart here. I'm going to start at the left and work my way downwards and to the right, starting at the animated Batman and finishing at Golden Eagle Armor Wonder Woman. So the animated Batman figure I wasn't really super impressed with. It's a figure that I didn't even take out to display on my shelf for a long time. So I'm going to put him down here on E tier. And then we have the animated Superman, another one that I think it's not a terrible figure, but the head sculpt, it never really jived well with me. So I'm going to put the animated Superman down here on E tier as well. Now, I do want to point out that some of these figures may or may not move up and down as we continue with this list. This is just where this is my knee-jerk reaction of where I want to place them. The Arkham Batman figure from Arkham Asylum, that's actually a fantastic figure. The paint apps on the eyes can be a little bit wonky, but overall, I think that it's a really solid attempt. For now, he's going to go in the B tier. We have the Arkham Batman and Joker 2-pack. The figures are the same as the ones that have been previously released, only they have that green slime on them. As far as I'm concerned, they're just a way to reuse that buck and, you know, make some money back. And it's like $100 grand to tool a figure, roughly. So, yeah, I'm going to say put them down in the E tier, honestly. Not because they're bad figures, but just they're already released, and the green slime on them, for me, just really doesn't appeal. The Joker, however, is fantastic, and I think the Joker is, in my opinion, actually in some ways better than the Batman. I know the face is kind of plain, but I think for now I'm going to put the Joker up on A tier. Then we have the Arkham Knight Batman figure. He automatically goes to S tier. I think he's a superb figure. One of my favorite figures of the year. We have the Arkham Deathstroke figure, and I would put him down here on A tier next to the Joker. Fantastic. I would have liked to see more paint detail, more deco silver in the cracks there, and more attention paid to, you know, his facial mask and the black around the eyes. So I would put him in A tier. We have the Asbats Batman figure, a fantastic figure, really bulky, but certainly an awesome looking sculpt. I'm going to stick him for now, though, down in the B tier. I liked him a lot. He is a great figure, but for now, that's where he is. Then we have the regular Curse of the White Knight Azrael figure here before he gets the Batman armor. And yeah, I think he's great, actually. He's going to go up into A tier. He was definitely one of my favorites. We have the White Knight Batman. Automatically, he's going to B tier. I might move him up. I might not leave him to the B fate, but for now, that's where he's going to be. We have the Batman Who Laughs. I think he's a pretty fantastic figure. He's going to go there. You know what? I've changed my mind. For now, let's move Azrael down to B tier. Just because comparing him to the other figures that are currently in A tier. Now, I know right now a lot of you are going, well, why is the Joker in there? But Azrael's not there because the Azrael's a better figure. Because this is my list, and I have the right to change it whenever I want to. You're right. By the end of this video, there's a good chance I will have switched these up. We have the animated variant of Batman in the blue and gray with the oval. I actually like this one better than the original one, but I'm still going to stick him down here on E tier as far as figures go. He might move up as we move forward. I haven't decided yet. And then we have the variant of the basic Batman. So the original one, which we haven't yet rated, is the Detective Comics 1000 Batman. Supposed to be based on Jim Lee's artwork. Doesn't look nothing like it, but I actually preferred this one better. I'm going to put this one up here in C tier. I prefer this figure. Then we have the bronze Arkham Asylum Batman. I believe, yeah, that's the Arkham Asylum. I made it known. I didn't buy these. I wasn't a fan of them. I'm sticking them down here in the F tier. The Joker's going to go there too. I don't know. I'm not big on the variants. The variant has to have a good reason to exist. Like, I can see changing the paint job for the animated Batman from the black to the blue, considering that just seems like a reasonable change to me that makes sense. But making them bronze was just something that, you know, it just didn't make any sense to me. It was just a way of, you know, making, oh, they're bronze, so they're special. The Arkham Harley, I'm putting her down here in, it's not the Arkham Harley, the comic Harley. It's supposed to be comic. It looks like animated. I got that wrong. It's supposed to be comic book Harley. I'm putting her down here in E tier because she looks like she was intended to be an animated figure originally. I mean, look at the size of those hips to this comparison of the size of the waist and the body proportions. She's not comic book accurate. She's more animated accurate. But I thought that her head was kind of big and bulbous. And she had the weird chicken legs where she was a weird figure. You saw me talk about her and she's going in E tier. I think she firmly belongs in the E tier. We have the Crow Robins, fantastic figures. They look great. Articulation's a little bit wanting on these Robins though. You would expect them to be able to bend a little bit more considering they're all small teenagers, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. They are good figures. For now, I'm going to stick the Crow Robins up in the A tier. We have Oliver Queen Green Arrow. I have seen this guy hanging on the pegs at my EB Games and Walmart since Wave 1 came out, and ain't nobody want him, and I don't want him either. It's not a bad looking figure. It just doesn't appeal to me at all. And that great big rubber tunic, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll buy him just to do a head swap with him eventually once he goes down in price, but he just didn't appeal to me at all. Next, we have the Dark Knight's Metal Rebirth Batman. I'm sticking him here down in C. He's a fantastic figure, sculpted really, really well. Looks very much like the source material. As I said in the review, I'm not really down with the tattered ripped cape and the rips in the suit. I understand why they're there. They're accurate, mostly, except for the cape should be purple on the inside, and the cuts should have blood coming out of them. I understand why there's no blood. This is sold in the toy aisle, so that makes sense. But I would rather they just made a basic Rebirth figure of Batman rather than go the full 9 yards and give him most of the detail, but not completely. We have the Dawnbreaker. The Dawnbreaker is a fantastic figure. He is S tier as far as I'm concerned. His detail is amazing. His articulation is perfect for what I would need him to be, and he was executed absolutely perfectly. Then we have Detective Comics 1000 Batman. He's going down here in F tier. Now, why am I putting him there? Well, you guys know that I've customized the Detective Comics 1000 Batman. Now, customized, I think that he at least moves up to B tier. But that said, he doesn't have any real muscle tone. He's got skinny, spindly legs. His arms, his biceps are really, really small. And the theme with the rest of the Batmans is they're all bigger. They're all bulky. But his comic version, Detective 1000 Batman, his first attempt at a Batman, to be fair, just never really did it for me. The vanilla version is a subpar figure as far as I'm concerned. And that's why in my local Walmart, it is the #1 peg warmer currently. Even in the Christmas season when parents are buying action figures for their kids, and this is a well-known character, everyone knows who it is, it's still hanging there on the pegs. Ain't nobody want it. It's even in the discount stores in my town. The Devastator. Oh, that is a fantastic figure right away. S tier. That is probably one of McFarlane's finest. Looks amazing. Accurate to the source material. I loved reviewing this figure. It was a real treat to open this guy up. We have Angry Face Flash. So this is the first release of the Flash in the multi-pack before we knew we were getting a single card. And the figure itself is fine, but you have that angry face sculpt. And see, I'm torn. The quality of that face sculpt is really, really well done. However, he looks really angry, and I get it. He's in a fight. You're going to grit your teeth and look angry in a fight. It just didn't, I would never display him with that. I've actually did a head swap and removed that head off of mine. So that tells you what I think of it. So I'm going to put him in D tier. What brings him up to D is the actual body itself, but the head sculpt knocks it down to a D. Thomas Wayne Batman. You know where this is going, where it belongs, in the superb S tier, right in the top. That, in my opinion, might even be my favorite McFarlane Toys figure for the year. We'll find out at the end of the video, won't we? Because I don't even know. I'm thinking he will be, but let's get to the end first. Next, we have the Golden Arkham Knight Batman. He's going on the bottom. And the Golden Arkham Origins Deathstroke. They're both going on the bottom. I'm sure they're fine. I mean, they're the same sculpt. They're just in gold. They're eye-catching, but they don't appeal to me at all. So that's why I'm putting them on the bottom tier. The Grim Knight. The Grim Knight is a fantastic figure. He's going in the S tier. Good old Punisher Bats. Hellbat Armor Batman. This is one that was all the rage and hard to find, and now you find him, I find him at the discount store alongside of the Detective Comics 1000 Batman, not because nobody wants him, because as soon as people find out he's there, they go there and they buy him, but I think he's just there because he's overstock. He's a fantastic figure, a little loose, he gets a little wonky after you fiddle with him for a little bit, but he's still a fantastic figure. I'm going to put him in the A tier. Not quite good enough for S, but definitely better than B. Infected Superman. This is one that they did really, really well. And I really hope that they use this body buck again. I'm sure they will. Well, we know they're going to use the torso again because that's going to be the Dark Knight's Death Metal Superman's torso if you compare the two. So I certainly think that it's a fantastic figure. Not my favorite, but one of my favorite. And I'm going to put him up here in A tier where he belongs. Animated John Stewart, Green Lantern from the Justice League animated series. This figure is okay. He's okay at best. E or F. E or F. I'll stick him in E. He can hang out in E with the rest of his animated buddies. We have the Joker from Batman White Knight that came in the Gotham City Police Department uniform. Came with the alternate head, the Jack Napier, and the Joker head. He looked very much like the source material. This look for Joker doesn't really appeal to me, but they did a fantastic job reproducing this Joker figure, so I've got to put him at least in C tier for now. I might put him higher, but right now C is where I'm feeling he should go. Then we have the Murder Machine. Right away, that guy goes up into S tier. I think that he is one of McFarlane's finest, sculpted perfectly, the texture of the figure. We have the second version of Nightwing in the red and black DC Comics New 52 suit. This figure is actually more striking than the original, but I prefer the original colors better. But still, this is a fantastic figure. Not my flavor for Nightwing, but still a fantastic figure. And I would probably actually, let's put him in B for now. I might move him up, but we'll put him in, no, you know what? No, I want to put him in A. Yeah, I want to put him in A. I know right now you're like, what? Why would you put him in A? Because that's how I wanted to put him. So I might move him though. Then we have the regular Nightwing. I'm going to put him down here in B, even though I like the colors better. He doesn't pop as much to me. This is my preferred Nightwing, I want to say. But if I had to put both side by side, which one is my eye drawn to the most? Which one am I most compelled to pick up and fiddle with? It's the red and black one. Isn't that weird? That's weird. Barbara Gordon Batgirl. I think she's a great figure. Maybe a little too tall. Definitely a lot too tall. But still a fantastic figure in general. I'm going to put her down here in B tier for now. She may move, she may not. But right now she's a resident of the B tier, which is still pretty close to the top floor if you ask me. Flash, this is a fantastic figure. I really, really like the Flash. I'm going to put him up here in S tier. I think that he is one of the best ones that McFarlane released so far. Definitely like him. We got the Joker in the Rebirth suit. And I like this figure. I want to like it more. I think that he is probably the best 7-inch scale articulated Joker figure on the market at this point that's been released. But I would have rather seen his green vest yellow and his yellow shirt green. I like that combination definitely better. And the face sculpt for him, if you actually see it repainted, it's wonderful. It's just the factory paint really doesn't bring up the details. So at this point, I have to put Joker in no higher than B tier, unfortunately. I want to make him higher. Then we have the Red Death. I really like this figure. Looks fantastic. Now, he has been drawn a few slightly different ways in the comics, so I can't really mark him for accuracy up or down, but I will say that his articulation, or lack thereof, because he's really not super articulated for a running figure. If you remember my review, his abs were virtually, there was nothing there really, and so I've got to put this figure, if I'm being realistic, down in the A tier. His articulation kind of dingest it for him a little bit. Then we have the Red Hood. You know where he's going. He is automatically going up into the S tier. I would say the Red Hood and the Thomas Wayne Batman are, at the very least, if I can't pick between them, they are my two favorite figures for the year. Not because they're necessarily the best quality. They're just, between the fact that the figures are fantastically well made and they're two of my favorite characters, that would be my deciding factor. Then we have Superman. I love the Superman figure. I don't care what anyone says. It's an S tier figure. Some people say his legs are too small and the body isn't right, but I love him. I love this figure. Then we have the animated Cyborg figure from Teen Titans. I saw this figure hanging on the pegs in my local Walmart and I passed on it. It looks like a, well, you know what? I'm going to put him up here in, I'm going to put him in D tier. And that's as someone who's never owned it. I've never had him in hand, but he looks good. He looks like he's well executed, well made, well put together, well designed. The animated version of Cyborg just doesn't appeal to me. I never even had a chance to really watch the cartoon. So I've got to put him down here in D tier. That's just my take on it. When I mentioned how much I was not excited about this figure in a video, I had a lot of people tell me, he's a great figure. He's the one I'm looking forward to the most. So I know that a lot of you are going to feel differently, but for me, he's down here in the D tier. Now we have the Merciless. He is McFarlane's first collect to build figure. And my God, Ares Batman is a thing of sheer action figure beauty. Sheer action figure beauty. He is an S tier figure, 100% all the way, certainly one of the best. And I can say the same thing actually for Unchained Superman armor. I really like this figure. He's got an appeal to him, a visual appeal. It's funny because he only wore that armor for a very short time in one issue of the Superman Unchained miniseries. It was such a short-lived time, but it's such a striking figure that, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that is an S tier action figure. Then we have the Batman who laughs in Hawkman harness. It's actually Sky Tyrant harness. And I'm not going to lie, I took the wings off mine and made a custom Hawkman figure. The figure itself looks great, but I've already got a basic Batman who laughs. And, he was my favorite one out of the two. But he's still a fantastically well-made figure, and the wings are really good. Their wings are really well done too. So I'm going to put him up here in B tier. Definitely B tier. And then what do we have left? We have Wonder Woman from the movie. Oh, you guys saw my review for Wonder Woman. The skin tone on Wonder Woman is a little weird, a little zombie-ish, a little not like human flesh. And her face sculpt is, maybe underneath the paint job is actually pretty good, but when you add the factory paint, for one, it's hit and miss to find one with proper paint and the hair glued on properly. Number two, even when it is, it just doesn't scream Gal Gadot to me at all. I really hope that he does a comic book Wonder Woman. So I'm going to have to stick this Wonder Woman, unfortunately, uncustomized, obviously, down here in C tier. She's a C tier figure as far as I'm concerned. We are down to the last figure, and that is Wonder Woman in the Golden Eagle armor. A figure that I feel like McFarlane just knocked out of the park. A fantastic representation of Gal Gadot in that armor. I can't wait to see Wonder Woman 84, by the way. Christmas Day, heck yeah, that's my family's watching that with me. Anyway, so I think for the final figure for Wonder Woman in this armor, let's stick her in A tier. She's at least an A tier figure as far as I'm concerned. At least. Maybe S. Nah, she's A. Yeah, she's about an A. All right, so I guess that's the list right there. I don't think I'm going to move anything. I think I'm going to leave everything right where it is. I'm pretty sure that's about as true to me as I can get. No, you know what? I'm going to make one move. And you guys at home are going to be like, oh, I knew it. Of course you moved that one. But I am going to move Infected Superman to S tier. I feel like that figure is actually deserving of an S tier rating because you can get him into flight poses easily. He's a fantastic representation of the character. The figure itself paved the way for another better Superman figure to exist. And I just think he knocked it out of the park with that one. So yeah, that is my final list. Love it or hate it, agree with it or disagree with it. This is my final ranking list of every single figure that Todd McFarlane has released in 2020, the first year of him having the DC license. That is accurate to what I feel. Anyway, the list itself, I'll have a link to where you can complete your very own Todd McFarlane 2020 action figure tier list yourself. Feel free to share it on Instagram and tag me in it, and let me see what you thought was a good list. Or you know what? You can even make your own tier list video with this, because it's an actual template you can use. I actually had to take all of the pictures of all of the figures and in Photoshop had to edit them into a square and edit out all the other stuff from around the outsides, like the McFarlane logo and stuff like that. So it would be a nice, clean template with figures. But yeah, that's it. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, checking out my list for McFarlane's 2020 releases. 2021 is gonna be a banger for sure for McFarlane. I can't wait to see what he's got planned. We know some of the figures. We know that there's going to be a Superman Devastator 2-pack. There's Injustice Flash and Gorilla Grodd. There is a lot coming. Most notably to me so far is that we will see the completion of the entire Dark Knight's metal, the figures that all build that first team of otherworldly Bat characters. I can't wait for the Drowned to be released. I just can't wait for 2021 for McFarlane Toys. Even though I'm on record as saying I certainly wish there were more non-Bat characters, he's still killing it with what he's putting out. That is, I believe, an undisputable fact. But anyway, yeah, that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a fantastic day, Super Friends, and take care.